And I've had a wonderful week this week. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm processing a um, a hypnotic regression that I did, and it was just really, really spectacular the way that the mind stores these things, and then we can replay them and get this different perspective. Even though I believe my memories have been downloaded back to me, there's still this different perspective that's always very interesting to find out. And so apparently it was an accident the way that I died. And I wasn't trapped here. That's really good news to find that out. It's a long story, and I'll get more into that at some other time, maybe if anybody's interested. But what I'd like to talk about, first of all, is what's really expressing on my mind to share was the way that the contact, when it first began for me, the first year that I was in contact, it was pretty much exclusively with what I call the gray teachers, the reticulant teachers, and they were very serious, very strict. It was very formal. It was pretty much, it was not at my choosing. It was a time that would come together, and I would be told to write things down. And a lot in the beginning, at first, it would come in the like symbol form. Um, Symbol can be a word that means a talisman. It can be like a key. It can be also a like a mnemonic, something that you put inside your memory that it's a symbol that conveys a complex meaning. It's not a picture, so to speak, but these do actually work like pictures. And I was writing and drawing and all these different things. The one of the first ones that came was a very simple thing, and this was this, which is very common in crop circle motif, this sort of thing. It's a barbell type symbol. What it means to me, I believe that crop circle, it's all interpretations are valid at every level. It's I think it's a multi-layered message. It's not a this means this and that means that, a simple thing. But then that's just my own, I haven't really gone that far into it. I think it's an amazing. I love seeing them every year. Um, anyway, that's what I'm talking about with these symbols. Was this for me was like it showed me a link, a connecting point, myself and my family now. And a short time after that, I just happened to buy a crop circle calendar and saw the exact identical in a formation, and it was such a beautiful confirmation for me. And these symbols after that started just really flowing, and there were at some point I realized that I'd been given five different instructions for how to properly prepare myself to be able to hear from my family, um, how to not get in my own way, and how to be sure that this is, how do I know this isn't my imagination? All these sort of questions come up. And it's at some point, for myself anyway, I had to make a decision that well, I keep having these confirmations come up, and I'm just going to continue believing that this is real, and I would like to believe that this is real. But the mind every so often will, what are you doing? It you know, it, this is something that is somewhat uncomfortable to go through. It's a spiritual process, and the symbols are. This is actually, you can't really see it very good, but this is a picture of what these mean to me. The first thing that was the first practice, we call it, and this is something that my guide works with me very much on also, but it's basically a cleansing, a simple I'm going to take charge of my boundaries around me, and I'm going to clean whatever is unwanted, whatever is, because when we move through an atmosphere, you collect debris, whether it's a spiritual atmosphere, whether it's a physical atmosphere, whether it's a mental atmosphere, whatever we consume, the air, toxic vibes, everything. This is where this comes into place, and this is like what it basically is I was shown it as a peeling away, and this is the closest form that I can. We're making a decision to peel this away, like an extra layer of dead skin, or um, this is all of the things that we don't need to be thinking about right now because we are intending to connect spiritually and connect to our hyperdimensional and multidimensional family. Um, so you really have to be able to engage with this. This cleansing, just thinking about it, it can you can I in the beginning I would go through a mental process of actually visualizing myself, and I'm peeling away the skin and I'm pulling it down, and it goes out into the atmosphere. And I think a lot of different disciplines have the same understanding about grounding, and the grounding part actually comes to is I was shown it as a separate thing. And this is this one right here, which is it was interesting because I didn't realize it at the time, but this is actually this is a an earth form, a simple cross, circle bisected, and it's a ground center, and this is what is important to do at this point in time, after one is cleansed of all of the, you made a decision, I'm not carrying this stuff with me, I'm going into a different mind space. And now we're grounding. You have to, it's really important. I have trouble with grounding myself. I tend to, that's why I feel like I'm lifting off the ground sometimes when I'm in meditation. But and dizziness throughout the day, and I have to remind myself. I think certain personality types have to do this regularly, and the more empathic you are, the even more important it is, because but it's the idea of grounding from this standpoint, which I was taught by the teachers, is that I am connecting to all of matter and everything at the same time. I'm defining my circle. My sacred circle exists within this space, and everything outside of this space, although I'm together with it and we're partaking with it, it's it's separate, and I'm moving with purpose, and that could be considered magic in many understandings. I think that it is. I think that it's also, when we make a decision as an aware spirit to move forward, that that's what it should be like. It should actually be effective. But this defining of, this is my center, this is my outer, nothing can come in here, and that's what this circle is all about. The second part, the third part has a lot to do with the etheric connection, and if you want to say implantation, implantation could be such a complex thing, and I really would like to discuss my feelings about that, because I don't see it as a negative thing. It's simply a connection. It's invasive, and I'm not, really going to go into the feelings about that. How we have, I was implanted, and I didn't, when I wasn't fully aware of what was going on, it wasn't a nice thing to think about. It was, but now that I understand what the connection is all about, and that we really don't have any privacy actually. So there's nothing, no more invasion. There's just what you don't know about, and what there is what you know about. Anyway, um, the what what was I doing? The connection is very important, because to know that it's simply an awareness. You're bringing yourself into the awareness point of, I am engaging with this connection. And for myself at this time, I'll often hear a slight clicking in the ears, and sometimes I will definitely feel the crown chakra feeling. You feel a fuzzy feeling, and you feel like you have energy coming out of the top of your head, and that's, basically because you do, and it's beautiful, and it's supposed to be like that. I love that feeling. I think it's fantastic. But it's a different sensation. These often accompany, the clicking, whatever that is. It. is telling me, okay, yes, I have in fact engaged. It's a, I was thinking about them as paraphysical sensations at one time, or there's confirmations. You're not just, it's never just going forward with your own mental mind and imagining things. There are always confirmations that you, yes, you're engaging, yes, you're going. Okay, so that's what this one is all about, and it looks like um well, it's simple. It's like a triangle, basically on top of a snowman. No, um, this. It's this symbolizes. This would symbolize the upper from heart upwards, and these are the connections upwards to source entity and to each other on the two sides, which are who is each other. Those who are family are very close. We're pretty much the same. We're so close. We have total access to each other, and um, it's not invasive because actually there is no privacy. Anyway, and the last one is Um, this is not the last one, but this one is actually very important. This is the what I call the mother tone, and this is a when you know that you're connected and you confirmed it, and it can just be a simple split-second thing. It's not something you have to sit and do for hours and think about. It's not a burdensome thing. It's just a simple awareness thing. This is what I was told anyway. This is my practice that I'm sharing. I'm not saying that anyone else's isn't valid, but this is my practice, how I do things, for better or worse. Hopefully it will become better at some point. There's a awareness that comes from here upwards and in the throat area, and you can call it the sound listening for the nadi shock, the not the currents of your energy that we all have. You can hear an actual sound. I've always been able to hear the sound. It's a high pitched, not high pitched, but it's a constant tone, and it's beautiful. And this is basically what I'm in this practice is matching my vibration with this sound and this song. Which I was told to call it the mother tone. I was later absolutely delighted to read that, within Hindu understanding, that there's a whole entire amazing practice devoted to that. And hopefully someday I can get much more knowledge in that area. Um, it's, but, and this is, it's funny because it looks like a Wi-Fi signal. It really does in some ways. And it also looks like a sine wave. Um, and this is a terrible drawing. I actually do paint, but I don't draw. Um, this is like a sign, the waves, the current in communication, and in its simple channel. It's very simple. It's very you look at it, it's easy. I know what this is, and I actually carry little cards and note sticky pads with these things on it. I'm sure everybody thinks I'm nuts, but I don't care. It helps me, brings me in the center. Um, and that this can be an endless thing forever. The communing with matter and who I call mother, and it's just absolutely beautiful. You become your sound that you when you match your sound and you're singing together. The next part is, and this is the last part, and this is kind of like the closing part of basically not the closing, but the finalizing of how I personally was taught to go about opening my channel to hear from my guides. And this part is it's basically a friendly reminder. Don't keep in mind what we're doing here. Don't get lost in the process. Keep in mind you have to have some sort of navigational ability and decision making ability. You are going into a spiritual environment. You're going to be open. You're going to, you might see and hear things that you don't understand, and that's definitely guaranteed. But you have keep in mind what is the direction you're going. Otherwise, you just hanging out with no purpose. What do I want to hear? Well, I want to hear everything, everything. Oh, it's overwhelming. And that for myself, that's something that I got stuck in for many years. And when I went through a rather sudden turning on of the third eye, and I didn't know why am I seeing this vortex. That's a very long story, but having some sort of decision making about what one wants to do is everything. The way that this one is represented to me, I can't show it. It doesn't show up on the camera, but it's a triangle within a triangle, kind of, which is the understanding of home and purpose and mission. Um, we have to stay focused to what we're actually supposed to be doing, whether it be physical work, spiritual work. It's this is what you need to remember to go forward with. So that is my 5 steps that I was given, and when I have all of these in mind, this is what comes after this, and this was something that my guide Ra taught me personally, and is constantly remind me of that I haven't got it right. And this puts you in a state of concentric, proper concentric form, or just you are now like at the height of your spiritual awareness, and you can engage and be aware of it and retain the knowledge and move and navigate and make decisions and choose to withdraw or not. And if I were to try to hear from family without being in these proper, it's very fuzzy, and it's doubt. Is this me? Am I imagining this? Uh, there's a feeling and a sensation that comes with when you're being connected with, and absolutely everybody has this, really. Everybody has a spirit with them. You don't have to go through, you don't have to follow my steps or anything. This is just how I came about and how they were discovered. And this has absolutely transformed myself in so many ways. I can walk into an environment not as feeling like, my God, everybody's looking at me. I know I'm a weirdo, um, but I can go forward with purpose and clarity. And it also has helped me tremendously with connecting with family, which is the most valuable thing that I've ever come across and ever will. And that's about it for now. Thank you for listening.